Good morning. It's good to see you. This seems to be the popular spot. No, the contemplatives, the integrating, the busy ones, and back to the contemplative ones. Nice. So, interesting, this message today as we share freeing the higher self. And I was watching myself. I think every teaching is pointing to this invitation to return to the self, to let go of what has been, and to let go of even any turmoil in your life in this moment, and just be with the higher self, as Damien read so beautifully, Ernest Holmes' meditation, I rest in thee. Isn't that what we want? Resting, letting go, being done with the divisions in the world. And so I turned to Eckhart Tolle's work, and I found myself just like carrying the book around thinking, I want to share this and that, the new earth, and I'll just tell you guys to read the book. Otherwise, I'd just be up here reading it to you, because he's one of the new thought teachers of our time that has a crisp and clear understanding of being with our minds as it is. The meditation, I am complete in thee. We are. Let us begin there. We are complete. We are held in the divine arms, in the love of the One. We are using Wayne Dyer's book, Your Sacred Self, as our main theme throughout the year. And he shares this concept of freeing the higher self. The whole title of this chapter is Freeing the Higher Self from the Ego. Now, when I was looking at this work, something dawned on me just this morning, so that's why I'm sort of just like fumbling up here, because you know how I asked Charlie, he is my practitioner, and he always does the most beautiful prayers to align both of us when we're in service for the community. And he said a prayer this morning that really struck me, and may I be the channel of a truth that reveals something that allows us all to make a shift. May we be the ones, the 100th monkey, that shifts the consciousness that's going on in our climate these days. May we be the ones. May we hold each other heart to heart, hand in hand, and be the ones that make the shift. And we rest in thee. And so then I was realizing, these are my perceptions, and they might not be yours. Uh-oh. Now where do we go with that? So let me share why I'm saying that. So overall, the theme of the Centers for Spiritual Living, they're using some wonderful books, some of them written by the Dalai Lama, and it's all, this month's theme is what is the common good. And the message, I want to share this with you because this is valuable, and it merges with what we're sharing together as well. Reverend Lynn Hygester, she said, there is a common good. There is a common good. In the understanding the oneness of all of life, we are all connected to each other in ways deeper than our individual minds on the surface may be able to grasp. So we have going on our individual minds grasping what shows up perhaps in news or Facebook. We're trying to grasp that, wrestle with that, debate those things. We sometimes, there was Trevor Noah was talking about cell phones versus how we used to be able to slam phones down. Remember, there was such energy in slamming a phone, but we can't do that. It's like, oh, I don't like that message. We have to put our cell phone down very carefully. Nothing's slamming. And And yet, so this energy is in us, this frustration that we don't really know what to do with. Where do we put this? We're all one. There's a common good in all, running through all, the understanding of this oneness of life. Why is my heart divided? I ache to rest in thee. I hear this in all my classes that I share time in, and I hear it out in the community. I hear it from each one of you individually. The ache of this appearance of division. So there's something that we're trying to grasp. And remember this, what we do to ourselves, we're doing to another, and what we do to another comes back to us. Ernest Holmes says, all life is bound together by one common law of love, and love is the self-givingness of spirit. So as we return to our theme, there's the common good theme that is being spoken in many centers today, and we're looking at our sacred self. And we're taking a personal look at this common good, this thread, this individualized expression that is in each and every one of us. And how do we free this higher self? This self that we lean into and we speak of Sunday after Sunday. We read about it in lesson after lesson. We meditate, tapping into this divine source, this longing, this ache, this journey to be settled with the divine, that we may know that. I sit weekly with 6 lovely people, and we're talking about belonging to God, and we share and we explore and we pull apart where we feel separate, where we feel connected, and what allows that connection to take place. How do we free this higher self? Why is it bound? Why does it feel that sometimes is it out there or is it in here? Why am I looking out there when I do know it's here? It's in my very heart. So where am I going? How do I free the higher self from the entrapment of these perceptions that are coming my way, these judgments that I find my own self repeating, these attributes, all of these things that frame the ego? Now, many years ago, I had a young man come to me and saying, I want to kill my ego. And I thought, oh, that seems kind of a big goal. And I thought, why would you want to do that? We need the ego as a construct of who we are. It's not, the ego itself is not an evil thing. Now here's what got me, because I went to Ernest Holmes' glossary on what he thinks an ego is. Now, I'm sure you all have a feeling of what an ego is, right? You have your own, what you're comfortable with. Here's his. I am of the Bible. And I went, now wait, what? I am of the Bible. The Christ. This is what Ernest Holmes says the ego is. The I am of the Bible, the Christ, the perfect idea of God. In metaphysical terms, the ego refers to the real consciousness of man. Did you know that? Right? Mary, did you know that? Do you sit with that? That's not what I think ego is personally. And so I went, well, now wait a minute. Psychology says it carries a slight variation in this interpretation. It's an organization or a system of mental states. We frequently are using it to convey the thought of an inner man, the real self. This is the definition in the textbook. So, ego is also thought of as the unconscious part of ourself, the part that is reactive. So here I'm looking at this idea of freeing the higher self from the ego, where in our teaching, the ego in Ernest Holmes' higher view is the I am of the Bible. Now that is, I can understand that when I have freed my lower self into this higher idea of the ego where it is simply merged with the divine. I can see that. However, right now, as I share this word, I'm already watching myself being divided in a message. It happens that fast. You see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? The idea, there's a beautiful whole idea that is being taught in these sacred lessons, and it is ours to see, well, what is my perception? What is the film that is holding me from that truth? What is the thin veil? If I could move that veil aside, I would be aligned and I would be merged with that higher self. That would free this higher self. The higher self is underneath all thought. The higher self is that which senses peace, joy, love, power, beauty. It is that. It is that witness that dwells within me, that is the one that listens to the judgments and the ways that I contract. It is the one that is beckoning me to sit still and to let those thought bubbles dissolve, because those forms of thoughts are separating me from that divine that has been my life journey to merge with this truth. So if ego is a thought of an unconscious part of ourselves, that part that is reactive, that part of us that is subject to liking and disliking, controlling, judging, or the other part of us that is opposed to the soul, there's another definition. It's opposed to the spiritual aspect of ourselves. These are all the various definitions of ego. So what is yours? Sometimes we toss terms around and we've never really contemplated, well, what do I believe? What do I believe in me as me versus what is told to me? I spent hours yesterday trying to find this particular quote that stirred me so much, and I was quickened by it. And I can't find it, but I'm going to paraphrase this concept. And it was a Jewish thought of these holy words are put upon your heart. The question was, why put them on the heart? Why not put them in? And the answer was, because you need to live your life. Allow the heart to break open and the holy words drop in. And I'm like, I get that. If life was so easy, we would just be resting, letting our heart rest on the words of another. But when our heart breaks wide open, when we find ourselves in turmoil, holy words drop into the heart and awaken us to the higher self. And the higher self, always there. You're home. This is the truth. This is the way. This is the way. And so Wayne Dyer is saying, as we look at his idea of ego, it's more of the one that is the judging ego part of us. He said it has nothing more than an idea that each of us has about ourselves. It's just an idea. But it's so controlling sometimes, and it has so many opinions. But it's just an illusion that seems to influence all of our experiences. So I sat with that, and I sat with it out throughout the whole night, and I just thought, I want this message to be, okay. Can we have a big, giant do-over? Can we declare that this day in February is our big spiritual do-over and start again? And just say that we're all in this together, that this time of life, this culture that we're in, these relationships that we find ourselves bumping up against, these Facebook relationships, isn't it interesting? You know what I'm talking about if you look at Facebook at all. I blocked them. Ooh, do they know about it? I don't know, but I blocked them. And sometimes there's ways that we have to just, it's too much for our heart to bear. But you know, It's just their idea. It's just what if they were right. I mentioned this yesterday in our SAGE workshop. What if what we're fighting was right and we needed to shift our perception? How does that feel? Are you willing? And usually we're not. Because we're so set in our way, we're so set in our illusion that we separate ourselves from the divine. So there's a common good, and that common good is the common love that flows in and through each and every one of us. So if we can allow ourselves to simply remind ourselves, may I see all things in relationship to the common good. May I know that I don't understand what I'm reading here, or what is influencing me here. I don't understand why I feel constricted in my heart. It's not the person, because usually we have the friends in our Facebook accounts because they're our friends and we invited them. And now we're trying to block them. What we're really blocking is something that we're wrestling with, that isn't our thoughts. And so the idea here is a really holy idea. It's a huge idea. It's a huge invitation to know that you don't know what's going on, but God does. And now you rest in thee. Oh, I don't have to figure this out. I can rest in thee, and I don't have to make the other person wrong or force my opinion. I can still have my way. I can still live in my principles that I know harm no one and lift the thoughts to a higher level, to a higher good. This invitation is to tap into our understanding heart, to dismiss the judging mind as being less than skillful at all times. Our minds are doing only what it senses, and out of fear of control, it'll box itself in with judgment. It'll box itself in with reactiveness. Ours is to do it over again. To pause in the moment we feel the constriction. To use the moments when you wake up in the morning as a holy time. As a time to wake up and to witness the light coming in, to check in with what am I feeling, how am I today, how are you, higher self, in me? What are we going to do today? And then you allow yourself just these few moments to, before you entertain the world, to look at, to see, am I still enough to listen to the encouragement of this best friend that lives within me as me, that has been encouraging me a whole lifetime? It is the soul within me that is encouraging me. It is a caring presence, a compassionate awareness. It is ourself. It is the kindness that we're longing for. So where does it begin? This kindness begins in ourself first, this self-love. This cherishing ourselves with a warmth and a friendliness that surpasses anything you've ever done up until now. This is the do-over. This is the do-over. To love this self. To practice such careful mindfulness in your spiritual work. To cultivate this relationship with this witness that dwells within you. This seer, this Christ consciousness, this deep self. God is. I am. I am polished in that knowing, and love prevails, this deep self. This is the friend in me that knows what is best. And as we practice and anoint ourselves with this self-love, we knowing that it takes repetition, it takes practice, it takes continual forgiveness to the self, to others and to the self. To listen to the depth of the silence and see what rises up for you. What is the holy message that is rising up from the heart of the words of holiness that dropped into you, that allow you to see your world in a whole new light and to walk out into your world with the bright eyes and the open heart of a willingness to be in service to the divine, to find and to live for the common good, not to be distracted or harmed by the dividing consciousness that is out there, that is part of humanity, not a part of divinity. So we watch yourself. I choose to walk that razor's edge, as Gandhi put it. I choose right here and now to observe the space that I dwell in and to dive in to the spiritual world that the meditation so beautifully articulated of Ernest Holmes. You are not your thoughts, but you are the one in you that is witnessing these thoughts. You don't need to follow them all. Just witness them. Easier said than done. Everything can wait. These drifting thoughts can wait. So I'm going to invite you into a practice. I'm going to talk some more at 10:30, a little bit more about some of the concepts of your sacred self and the ego as defined by Wayne Dyer. But you are the ones that are the contemplative, quiet, soul-seeking. You have come here to heal that separation, that divide. You are the ones. So you shift. You shift in your seat, and you feel a sense of dignity start to move into your body. The invitation, as if you are presenting yourself to the Holy One, because you are the Holy One that dwells within you. As you want to shift your seat and to allow your spine to rise and allow your heart to pull up forward, not hidden in the depths of a constricted space, but open to a greater truth. This is spiritual practice, and the invitation begins. And you close your eyes, and you feel yourself sitting in the chair, and you're very aware, I am the one sitting in this chair, breathing into a safe space. I am the one. I'm feeling my weight fall heavier into this chair, and I'm directing my attention to my body. And I'm in a place that is safe. I'm in a community of people that are all doing this with me. And I am safe. And I'm honest here. For what rises in these moments are my self-perceptions. And I see a door opening. The door of my heart is opening. See that, feel that. As we let go of the tensions of humanity, and we move and merge into the temple of the heart, and the divine is waiting, always there, welcoming you. Here, we choose to love ourselves exactly as we are. We choose to just let come up whatever comes up, attached to nothing, because it's all an illusion. It's all thought. It comes, it goes. In this moment, it does not stick. It comes and it goes. Because I am in this moment, I am mindful of the breath. I am healing and releasing. I am forgiving and loving. I am blessing myself. And as I bless myself, I bless all beings. I am honest with the perceptions that rise up through me. I am loving myself throughout. Feel it as a warmth begins to envelop you from within. And you take these 3 deep breaths, and you allow that breath to draw in and to release through the mouth. And you breathe in, And you feel the holy chambers opening, and you breathe out, and you're in this prayer, this physical prayer of being with the divine. And you're breathing, and you're checking in, and the door opens wider, and you walk in. Here you are, and you witness a being walking in. Who is that? Who is that sharing this space with me? Who is that, the witness of all that has ever been in me? Who is that? It is the ideal version that you hold for yourself. See that. All that you've ever wanted to be, this inner being, walking in, standing before you. Feel it and allow yourself to be received by this presence. This presence knows all of your desires. It is the most authentic aspect of you. It has all the relationships that you've ever desired. It has every characteristic that you have longed to have. It is flawless in its version of you because it's limitless. It holds all the wisdom. It holds the perfection of who you are in every way. It is the version of you in the ideal world. This is the perfect version of you. It is walking, and it decides to sit right in front of you and staring deeply into you. It is the clear mirror that you look upon, and you realize that you have been the mirror that has been warped in some way. But this reflection now is perfect, and what arises in you seeing this perfect vision as it sits in front of you, it is everything you want to be. The positive and negative, it's all there. This perfect vision sits in front of you. What do you think of this being? Feel where sensations start to arise in with you. Watch the moments where you try to shy away. But no, you're safe. You're in your own space. Feel the sensations, be with them, be curious with the feelings that arise within you. Let it be, just observe. Mindful, just observing the feelings. Feel the color, the texture. How large is this moment? What is its weight? Coax these sensations and feelings forth as you hold them tenderly. Feel them coming out through you, dropping into your open hands as you sense these feelings that you've been carrying, purging this temple and allowing yourself to watch with compassion, watch with love. Hold it tenderly. You are flooding everything with this love, and you're perfectly safe. These feelings you are transmuting and transmitting love. Let these feelings know that you understand why you have held them in such a way. They've been serving you, but some of them you no longer need. Some of them you open your hands and you offer out to the divine, and you allow these feelings to just float away and to dissolve into the ethers. You're set free. There's no judgment here. You're perfect as you are. You want to feel, I am pulsating with this life, this energy. More feelings might remain. You love, you let go. You love, you let go. You love, you forgive. You love, you forgive. You look deeply into the loving eyes, receiving now, looking into the loving eyes of that being that sits before you, receiving a transmission of what is next for your higher self. What is next? What is next for you in this moment? And you feel a sense of boundless love, a dream that anoints your heart. You're unshakable in this confidence, and you feel yourself standing with this divine knowing, merging with the sensation. It stands, it fills you completely. You are it. You are that. You are the ideal self. You always have been. These feelings, this way that you have been carrying has been released, and now you walk with this clarity that fills you. You take 3 more deep breaths of absolute truth. There's so much love for you. And in closing this poem from Derek Walcott, love after love. The time will come when with elation you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you have ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit and feast on your life. Derek Walcott. I invite you just to stay in communion with the divine self, this higher self, no longer reaching out into humanity for our answer, but pulling truth that has laid on the top of the heart, and we draw that truth inward. There is only one love, one truth, one way, one. Let us unite now with that love like we've never done before. Let it penetrate those places within us that we are so sorry for being unskillful, for knowing that moments that we felt judgmental or harsh were moments for us to encourage a waking up to a higher call. It is ours to do, our common good. And we recognize now, as we take these truths and we allow that transmission of love that we just experienced to fill our being, we walk now. We walk our talk. We sit with what is, and we offer love as the healing, not complaining, not judging, not hating, but loving, and knowing that that self-givingness of love blesses all that there is. It's all we can do as we live as the one beating our heart invites us to do. I give thanks. I give thanks for the way we arrive together at a truth, and we take our perceptual field and we wash it clean as a do-over. May I walk now, lighter, freer, forevermore. I rest in thee, and so it is.